And hello everybody and welcome to our WSB card call for the WSB Cape Met. And the lads and I were chatting. First of all, let's start with this wonderful groundswell of support and excitement that is coming through from Cape Racing, and that has been recognised and probably the most significant development as far as this card is concerned, because there are huge fields. The Met itself is a real challenge. Let me introduce you to the panel. Glenn Cotson is next to me. He was reminding us that you've got a nice card and some nice runners. Not many, but lots of quality.
Yeah, I think so. We haven't come with 34 horses and trying to win a race, but we've got 10 really smart horses. So, yeah, we're very excited.
Wonderful. Well, great to have you, and we'll be chatting. The man himself is here, Andrew Fortune, who is no doubt going to give his opinion, and strongly. Andrew, great to have you here. And let's just go back to what I said. It's the Cape Racing. There's definitely been a invigoration, something new to the whole proceedings.
Absolutely brilliant. It's been. I was here for, obviously got my ass kicked, left early, but it's been absolutely brilliant what they've done for Cape Racing.
Yeah.
Glenn's got 10 runners. I rode for Glenn for a season or two, and the minute he said he had 10 runners, I started sweating because he would fancy 12 of them.
Well, that's what today is about, of course. So if you do fancy 12 of them, folks watching, of course, you can get on, because the card call will go through how it's going to work. But there is 2 million rand of each horse available in the Met. And we've got Hilton here to tell us a bit more about it. Hilton, great to have you on. I've saved the best for last, because you're going to run the ship in terms of the order in which we're going to do it. But maybe just go through, for those watching, what they can and take and how much of it and how it works.
So basically, Neil, first of all, it's great to be here, especially with two of the guys that are now officially ambassadors of ours. We've just taken over sponsorship of Glenn's stable and Andrew's stable. So basically, the point of tonight is that we want to be as competitive as possible. So we basically, at any stage, we're going to offer the best price of any horse. We're going to offer 2 million rand of the horse. We'll put it up for maybe a minute, and then once the guys have got their bets, we'll then move on to the next horse. There's going to be some very good value. So anybody who's looking for a good price down the card needs to hold on and fill up their accounts.
Right, so no pressure on you, because my job here, right, is to firstly control Andrew, which is difficult. Second, to get Glenn's 12 of the 10 horses that he likes. But also to get you to be generous. But I want to start by complimenting you, because, and this is significant tonight, because if you're sitting at home, you've got a chance to make a deposit that you get 20% of whatever you deposit as a free bet. So let's use, for example, 5,000 rand. If you deposit 5,000 rand, you will get 1,000 rand free bets. And for those that don't know, I do, because I've got a WSB account. That then you can use. You don't get your stake money back when you play, but it's basically it's a bit like loading a gun and having a free shot, because on the principle that I said, 5,000 deposits, you get 1,000 rand free bets. And you can therefore have, if you fancy 60 to 1 about do it again, or which you mentioned, Andrew, you can have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to be offering double the price some horses, and some of it's going to be for free.
Yes.
So you're going to be getting 400 or 500 to 1 horse if you play your
for
cards
free.
right. Yeah,
correct. If you play.
Basically.
And of course, I'm conservative. A man of Andrew Fortune's ability and talents won't be depositing 5,000. He was putting a few noughts on the end of it. And I think it's actually up to 100,000, you can.
Yes, 100,000,
deposit.
20%, 100,000.
20%, 100%, wish. So there you go. So let's talk a little bit about the race. And before we get on to running through the individual horses, we're going to start with the rank outsider, Gem King. Because we've got obviously somebody here who's got an important runner in the race. Cousin Casey, how well is he? And what are your expectations in a tough field?
Well, contrary to Andrew's belief, we don't like Cousin Casey. I'm going to have to show you. We love Cousin Casey.
There we go. Very nice.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm super confident. We thought, well, when they first announced that they were going to do mechanical draws or computerized draws, I was a little concerned, because we never get a decent draw.
Yes.
And then Ravi had to do the brave thing and go up and draw, and he took the Grant with him, and Grant was aiming to go to the right, and Ravi then chose the one on the left, and so we got draw 14, but thank goodness the other draw was 19, I think it was.
Yes.
So in that respect, he did well. But look, we're out of the rat race down the inside. We've been following the weather. I think that there's going to be a black southeast, there's going to be rain in the morning, and then there's going to be gusts of like really, really strong winds. And so I think it's going to be quite a tactical race. And I think it's going to suit us. You know, he's a horse that's come from off the pace. He's a horse that can go right up there. We've jumped him from draw 14 out of 14, and he's gone to the front and won. So he's very versatile. So we'll watch the races going through, and we'll have obviously team chats all the way through and how we're going to go forward. But I can tell you that he's had a great prep. You know, he's only had 2 runs this season. And he's now 3rd run after break. You know, weight for age, as I say, the 3-year-olds are doing it worldwide, the weight for age, and especially in South Africa, every week you just see how the 3-year-olds are thumping them in the handicaps, and I think that it's going to be a 3-year-old race. I think that the fillies are a very smart filly. I was quite surprised they're going to run in the Met. She's had 5 runs in 5 months. It's quite an ask, and you know, Group 1 company, it's really tough. And you know, we ran in the Met a couple of years ago. We had a choice. We were 8 to 10 favourite to run in the Derby. We opted to go for the Met. We ran 4th. We got beat a length and a half with Gold Standard.
He's now at stud.
Yeah, he's now at stud, and he was a real decent horse. But I think that Cousin Casey's just another level. He's just another step up. He's got a great cruising speed, and he can really kick off that. So
bring
it's
in
exciting.
Andrew's observations of him, Captain Casey. I mean, he's got a tremendous turn of foot. If he's in position, I mean, he's the type of horse with very little weight on who could make them all run.
Well, I think the 3-year-olds are phenomenal this year. I really do. I really do. I think they are very, very good this year. And I think the older horses, Jet Dog and Commet Ding, are starting to tame off a little bit. You know, they're off to stud. I suppose both of them after this. And there's still not much between them.
Yeah.
There's always a length and a half between them. So, but they're well drawn, Neil. That's in their favour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the race is to a degree made for them, although my belief is also like Glenn's, that the 3-year-olds are just so superior this year.
Okay, fascinating. So we will see. Last question before I get to Hilton. With these weather conditions, how would you ride the race? If those are the weather conditions that are going to come and pan out on Saturday, as a jockey, as an exceptionally good jockey, how would you ride this race?
Yeah, you always, from a draw like that, you can have 1 or 2 plans to what you're going to do. You always look to get positive first.
Yes.
And then take it from there. I won a lot of races on bad draws here.
Yeah.
I won the Derby from draw 14. I won the Guineas from draw 16 out of 16. And once they've gone 300 meters, they kind of settle down. If you haven't used your horse, it's all what you do with your horse the first 300 meters. If you break out and you come out with speed and you haven't used it, then you just filter him in somewhere, 4th, 5th, 6th. But then again, I was a fairly exceptional jockey.
Absolutely.
You know,
No, take away fairly. You were an exceptional jockey.
Can do it, that's a complete different story.
Thank you, Grant. We're watching. Right, let's get straight into it. So you know how it works. I've hopefully given you a little bit of time to put some money in your account and deposit and make use of your free bets. Right, so we're going to start with Gem King, Hilton, because it's the bottom of the boards. Online at the moment, it's 100 to 1. Now, what are you going to give us? What are you going to do with Gem King?
Yeah, I think he deserves this place. You know, his comeback run over 1200 was
good,
very
yeah.
decent, and then he was very well backed to win the last race, which he bombed out. So he's probably worth this place. I don't think he's going to stay. I don't think he shows he's going to stay. So he's currently priced up at 100 to 1, and we're going to kick off with 200 to 1 available.
Wow, so double the odds for him, 200 to 1. I'm just going to get it because the form, because you want to talk about that. It was a terrific run back, Glenn. Maybe second run layoff. I don't know if you believe in second run layoffs, but he's now coming into this race, into the Met with his 3rd run. Does he deserve his place?
Surprisingly, I don't think he stays. Every time they put him over ground, he runs a bit disappointing. His comeback run was a super run. And usually when they come back after a long layoff, he obviously had a nice break, and they come back and they run an absolute cracker the first run. Their second run can be a little bit tapered off. But yeah, he's drawn 18, and I don't think he stays. I can't have him.
Okay, 200 to 1 though is what you're getting. So today is frequently about value, because you're not going to be probably seeing 200 to 1 on Saturday, and you are welcome to take that. So what happens, just so folks at home, if they're going online now, the 100 to 1 will now say 200 to 1.
Correct.
I'm going to check up on that, because
Yeah,
you
go
know
for
me,
it.
I told you
Go
I've got
for
an
it.
account here, so I might be busy, Andrew, with my own. I made a deposit before we came on air. So yeah, so we'll get along to that and do that. 200 to 1 about Gem King. Are you doing any places at all?
We've got several options. We've got 3 places, 4 places, 5
Okay,
places,
so
and
they
6
can go in
places.
there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they've been adjusted. Okay, fantastic. Gem King, not for you?
Have you had your bet? Have you had a bet?
No, not yet. I mean, he
Well, I was
wouldn't
going
be
to
one
tell
I'm
him to
going for.
push it out to 300.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. That used to happen to me when I used to come to Kenilworth. There was a bookmaker called Shorty for Mulin, and he always used to wait for me to have him a bet, and as I was walking away, he'd double the odds. Mind you, they all used to do that. Yeah, coming back to Gem King, look, I mean, surprises do happen. Where's the pace in this race? Is there going to be too much pace?
That's a worrying part, Neil. I can't really see that much pace in the race. I really can't. I've gone through it 2 or 3 times, and
Pomp and Power is probably the only one.
yeah, that if he goes, they tucked him in last time.
Yes. Didn't quite work, did it? So, I mean,
No.
he pulls, you might as well just go with him.
Yeah.
We'll get to him, because some people might fancy his chances a little bit. Okay, so 200 to 1. Are we still open? Do we keep it for a few
just
more
move on
minutes?
to the
Or we
next
can
one,
move
yeah.
on to the next
Yeah.
one. And we'll leave it on. Don't leave it too long, because it'll be there for a while, but not for longer than 5 minutes. Right, rain in Holland. Right, what do you think? What are you going to give us with rain in Holland? Currently, or was 80 to 1.
Currently is 150 to 1 is going to be on offer. In
Okay.
the next couple of seconds.
That's even more than double that. 150. I'm getting on there myself now. WSB Cape Met specials, or are we going to Kenilworth on the race day? I'm going there now. 150 to 1 about rain in Holland. Miracles do happen. What about her, Andrew, form-wise? She's trained by Sean Terry. I mean, to be fair to her, she won the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
You know, you don't win Triple Crowns every week.
Yeah, without being half decent.
Yes.
Hasn't quite been the same, eh? Since winning the Triple Crown, having the off.
Correct.
And it hasn't quite been the same.
But they say class is permanent, form is temporary. Could she come back and surprise them all? I mean, Sean Terry's won a met Alistair, right? He trained Alistair. And Golf
yeah,
Puller
Golf
rode it.
Puller, yeah. We are very surprised. I think they're taking their chances.
Yes.
Just,
Okay, so
I can't see her.
you can't see that. 150 to 1. What about you, Glenn?
If anybody can do it, Sean Terry can.
Yes.
And as you say, she is a lovely filly. I don't know what her injury was, but yeah, it's you can see she hasn't had a great prep. You know, she's had almost like a rush prep, if anything. But it's the 3rd run after layoff. So and the last one wasn't bad. I mean, if you got the favourite, Make It Snappy.
I'm glad you said that, because you're getting 150 to 1 about a filly that was giving Make It Snappy, who was 7 to 2 favourite, 5.5 kilograms. So, and there's got to be some improvement to come from her.
Absolutely, and I mean, she's, as you said, she won a Triple Crown. She's a lovely filly. I mean, we'd love to have her in our yard, and why not? I mean, she must have if I was having a value bet, definitely at that price.
Okay, and I can tell you, by the way, because I'm now online, Gem King is still 200 to 1 and 28 to 1 a place. 28 to 1 for 4 places. Rain in Holland is 150 to 1 and 21 to 1 a place. So these are going to stay open for as long as as we see fit. Remember that we're offering 2 million of each horse. So once you've taken your 2 million of perhaps some of the fancied ones a little bit later on, it will close. But at the moment, those are both open. 150 to 1 a win Rain in Holland, 20 to 1, 21 to 1 a place, and Gem King 28 to 1 a place. Top 4. Let's talk about Waterbury Lane. I studied again last night, and the first thing I saw was, hello, Ricky Maingard.
Yeah.
The last time Ricky Maingard took over a horse was a certain Muthana, who won the Lormeron King's Plate. A man you know very well. What a trainer.
Great trainer with top horses. Don't send him a maiden.
Yes,
He doesn't concentrate on them much. Send him a top horse.
yes,
And you've seen.
yeah,
I mean, that horse actually improved the length and a half
yeah.
from the cock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very good trainer.
Yeah.
Very, very good trainer. He hasn't had him long though. He's only had him 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you couldn't have had Muthana
No.
that long.
Muthana had 1 run for him.
Oh, did he?
Over
Okay.
1200. Very, very, probably one of the best trainers, top 3 best trainers. I rode for a lot of good trainers.
Yes.
Top 2 best trainers I rode for.
Really?
Ricky
Well,
Mann.
high praise indeed. Now, what about Hilton? Are we going to push this horse to it? Waterbury Lane is 80 to 1.
Yeah, Neil, I think we'll go same route as Rain and Holland, and we'll go 150.
150 to 1. Whoosh. So we're going to do that. 150 to 1. I'm waiting for the 21 to 1 a place to pop up, and then I might get busy. What about this horse?
Well, I'm surprised again he's in the lineup, but don't disregard Ricky Maingard. Quite interesting, you know, the first 6 horses past the Colts Guineas in the Cape.
Yes.
They've only won, I think, of the first 6, they've
Of
only won
last
2.
year's
They've only
Guineas,
won
yeah.
2 races each. Yeah, so nothing's really gone on. So you've got the 2 top ones, which is Snaithorse and that are running in the Met, but the rest of them haven't won. So it's quite interesting. I mean, how good was that crop of 3-year-olds that
That
year
was the
as
one that was
compared
won
to
by
this
double
year?
superlative, and we
Yeah,
spoke
correct,
about
yeah.
that. But
He
getting
had
back
an
to
injury.
that race.
Well, he had an injury. We can understand. He pulled the tendon, but.
Yeah.
How good was that crop of 4-year-olds? And that's why I'm wondering, how good is Waterbury Lane? Why did Kennemer get rid of him? I believe he's had 1 or 2 issues, but still, I don't think that crop is as good as what the 3-year-old crop is this year. And maybe Andrew can...
Not even close.
Okay,
They're
so
not even close. I'll tell you why. The older horses beat the 3-year-olds in the Queen's Plate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Muthana beat Charles Dickens.
Jet Dog, Comedy Ding ran second. Jet Dog won the Queen's Plate.
Yeah.
And I think Borchi's horse ran 4th or 5th.
Yes.
last
Pomp
year,
and Power last year.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I didn't think they were close to, and like Glenn said, not too many of them have won races.
All right. Okay, so this crop, the 3-year-old crop, better than the 4-year-old crop.
No
in your
doubt.
No doubt about
No
it.
doubt. No, I think God is showing off what
Yes.
he's done with this 3-year-old crop.
I like that. Waterbury Lane is 150 to 1, and it is now updated at 21 to 1. Look, we're talking about, it's not just about wins. It's talking about, there's 4 places here. And, you know, if you're getting 28 to 1 about, Gem King is now back, by the way, has reverted back to his price. So we've closed on Gem King. 150 to 1 still available on Waterbury Lane and Rain in Holland for a winner. Both still available at 21 to 1 a place. Right, let's move on to Pomp and Power, who does fit the same category. Frustrating horses. Has been a frustrating horse, I'm sure, for Greg Bortz. His own worst enemy is himself. He just pulls and he's difficult.
Looks like the worst thing they did was actually teach him to settle. Because when he was a bit dilly in the races and went to the front, he might have used some of his energy, but that's where he had his form. They sort of taught him how to settle now, and his last 4 runs have shown that it's just not his style of running.
So what are you doing with him? Because he is currently, he was at 60 to 1. What are you going to give us for him? He's 66 to 1.
He was, yeah, from draw 19. I don't know if he can feature 100 to 1.
100 to 1, Pomp and Power. All right, we'll update that. What's the story with Pomp and Power, Andrew? What do you do?
Grade 1 winner.
Yeah, but he's dilly. I mean, you must have ridden. What's the most dilliest horse you ever rode?
Ludwig.
Oh, look.
He took it to a complete
Really,
different...
did he?
Yeah, oh no, he was. I used to cry the night before when I had to ride him. No, but I think Justin is missing a trick with this horse.
Yeah.
A horse cannot win a grade 1 and start running like that. Then you missing a trick as a trainer.
Well, they've tried
it
everything,
happens to
haven't they?
all of us. But you're missing a trick now. Sometimes they get lost in translation because you've got too many horses and there's just not time for him. Glenn, does it happen?
I don't know. I mean, he's been. I've watched him. I've seen Justin work with him day and night. I've seen him at gallops. He's just had this habit of pulling the whole bridle off. You know, and he was so clever enough to do it, and he did it again. And so I think they've done a wonderful job in getting him back on track. That he ran a decent. His last 2 starts, he wasn't that bad. I'm just hoping to God they use him as a pacemaker. We need a pacemaker. He likes to run like that. It'll be senseless from that draw to do anything else but jump and let him
The
string them
problem with
along a
that
bit.
is he going to be a genuine pacemaker? Because when you're a pacemaker, you want the jockey to be in control of the horse and setting a pace. That's what a pace. You don't want him going off at 1,000,000 miles an hour because that doesn't help anybody. So
Well,
it's
it
got to be
helps Jet
legitimate.
Dark and all those others.
Well, unless
doing this.
if everything chases him. But I mean, I'm not so sure you'd go chasing
I
something
can't,
that's.
I can't see that happening because Greg Bortz owns him. I mean, it would be nice for him to win
Yeah,
for Greg.
of course.
For Greg. But me personally, I think they're missing a trick.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Horse can't win a grade 1 and then run like that.
But again, we're just talking about the 3-year-olds. They were all running against each other winning the Group 1s. How good was that crop? I'm not quite sure.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's really gone pear-shaped since the July, but as you say, I mean, he's got a magnificent pedigree. He is a son of Vercingetorix like yours, so he's got a pedigree on him as well. Anyways, he's 66 to 1. I want to bring you up to date. Oh, they've got 100 to 1 here. Yes, correct. 100 to 1 and 14 to 1 for a top 4 finish. That is still open. By the way, we've closed on rain in Holland. 80 to gone back to 80 to 1 and 12 to 1 a place, basically. Waterbury Lane is still open. Pomp and Power still open. Warrior. Here's a horse. Does he stay, Warrior, Glenn? In Group 1 company.
I mean, he was all the rage as a young horse, and he never quite lived up to it. He never runs far off them, and I think he'll do the same again.
Never runs a bad race, that's
No.
for sure. So maybe certainly from a place point of view. What's your take on Warrior?
It's never shown he's good enough. With Jet Dog and Commet Ding
Correct.
and Glenn's horse.
Probably just off.
But also could be just off them.
Yeah. Could be off them. Right, what are we going to do with him, Hilton?
That
Price-wise?
family as well. If you pretty young things, Silent War.
Yeah.
They've got to the 1400s. Warrior stayed 16.
Yeah.
Didn't quite see out the 18. I don't know. He's going to see the 2000 to be honest.
Yeah.
Now the filly ran a much quicker time than Rascallion on the day, eh? She ran a second faster.
Right.
Than you got to go on something.
Yes.
Make it snappy.
Yes.
Ran on the same day as Rascallion and ran a second faster than him.
faster.
Carrying 55.
Yeah. Okay, so fair enough. So for you, not Warrior, but we've got, what are we going to do price-wise? 50 to 1.
Yep. 66.
60,
Available, yep.
66 to 1 Warrior, a win and a place. Well, they'll adjust that, a place. So
I think you're a bit
66 to 1.
tight. I think you're a bit tight.
What?
Yeah, I
think- I would
also
go
think you
100.
could do a bit
I
more.
would go,
than that, to be
yes,
honest.
yes,
I know
yes.
we're only
Yes.
saying that because none of us like it. So, it's not like we're trying to get on.
I think
Do you want to go 100?
You
No,
got
no,
to
no.
go 100. You
When
got to
we
go
get to
100.
my shrewdies, I'm going to put you under big pressure. But I think you can go 100 there. I do.
Yeah, I'm sure 1 and 1 man.
You know what's
Okay,
going to
right.
happen is
100.
Warrior's going to be led into the winners' enclosure. They're going to be saying, your sponsorship of your 2 stables will be over. It'll be the shortest sponsorship you've ever seen. They'll close the account. But I think we can, eh?
Yeah, Siobhan in the trading department said to me, these are the fixed prices. You don't go any bigger.
Oh, so you stuffed.
We're going 100 to 1.
Well done, well
Yeah.
done.
Wow.
Sorry, Chef.
Well done. Thanks, Siobhan. Thank you. We
Behind
love you.
every man there's a woman.
It wasn't me, it was Andrew. Okay, so yeah, we'll go 100 to 1 there on Warrior. I'm not so sure you know, even punters at 100 to 1 will be taking it. But it is about value, remember, and a lot of big punters like to have a book, and stranger things have happened. If you go back to the Mets, did you ride in Fearless Streakers Mets? That was a big upset that
Fearless,
year.
Mark Sutherland.
Yes.
David Payne. Was it Mark
No,
Sutherland?
Anthony Delpish, I think, rode it,
No,
did he?
Fearless Streaker. No, David Payne trained it.
David Payne definitely trained it for Archer Head's family, remember?
Yeah. Who rode it?
Who rode it?
I'll still-
Anthony rode that Imperial winner, Imperial
Sue, yeah.
Imperial Sue,
I will
yes.
stick with Mark Sutherland.
Sutherland.
Can it be?
Could be. Would he have been riding for David Payne? Don't know.
I won the Guineas for David Payne.
Yeah. Don't know. Do you remember? That's certainly not before.
I
your
remember the
time.
horse, I remember the heads,
Yes.
but those days it was the horses that were well handicapped that got into that won the Met.
Yeah,
But the conditions have
changed.
Yeah, the
changed
Fabulous
and,
was a handicap snip. Do you
Yes,
remember that?
Robbie Fred, Vaughan Marshall.
Absolutely. Yeah, the game's slightly changed. Right, okay. There we go. Well done. Look at your influence. 100 to 1 here.
Nicely
Warrior. Well done. And it's 14 to 1 a place. Okay, let's move on to Linebacker. Now, what has happened to Linebacker? You think about horse. This time last year at the 300 meter mark, he looked like he was coming to win the Met. What's happened? He doesn't seem to be the same horse as he was as a 3-year-old, Andrew.
Still capable.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Still capable.
Yeah.
He can't be a
I
bad
told
player.
Nino he's standing there. I
Can't
said
be
to
a
him,
bad.
he's
You know
still
what I did
capable.
like of him last time?
Yes.
He moved up with Bass's horse, that 3-year-old.
Trip to
He-
Fortune.
No.
Was it Charles Dickens, wasn't
Charles
it?
Charles
Dickens.
Dickens. Yes.
I understand Charles Dickens gave
Yes.
a quiet run, but he moved up with him for a long time.
Yes.
And then emptied out the last 150 meters. It wasn't the worst run. He sat last. It wasn't the worst run in the world.
What's
very, very possible.
Well, let's get a price first of all, and then I'll ask Glenn on his opinion. I also think he's a dark horse because he has been there. Linebacker.
Yeah, he's currently 45 to 1. I think a bit of value at 60 to 1, to be honest.
Yes.
And he's definitely going to be suited to 2000. He hasn't run that distance since he's come back from his injury.
It's such a big field. I can't find it. What number is he?
16.
16. Here he is. Yeah, yeah. Interesting because Corne Orfer has got the ride now because Grant Van Niekerk's on your horse. Grant was always associated with Linebacker. But if you have a look at his form, second, there was never much between him and Commet Ding, was there?
Never.
Ever. They were very close together. So now, Commet Ding is 6 to 1, and you're getting what price?
60.
60 to 1.
But I think that you can clearly see he had a 5 or 6 month break, and then he obviously had quite a serious injury, and they've done well to get him back. But I still think he's a miler. I think that his best form's over a mile, and you're stretching him over ground,
But
especially
he won
if
the
he's got
Daily
issues.
News. Didn't he win the Daily News?
He did.
won the Daily
No, he
News.
ran. Did he win the Daily News, or was he got beaten? No, he must have won the Daily News. Yes, it was before the Giants. He did.
Yes, he won
He
the
did
Daily
win the
News.
Daily News. But Commet
That's,
Ding
yeah,
was
but I
looking
mean,
on.
maybe the canted and sprinted. I don't know.
Gravel's an easier
I don't know.
2000, isn't
I
it?
just think his
Still
best
gotta go
form's
2000.
over.
Doesn't matter where you run it.
Yeah.
Well, he ran second to Commet Ding in the July, so maybe
Yeah,
I'm talking
yeah,
rubbish. But I
yeah.
think he's just better over shorter.
Well, last year's Cape Met, he ran within a length of the Commet Ding. I mean, we're talking about value here. I'm just updating this. So 60 to 1 a win, 8 to 1, 8.5 to 1 a place, top 4. That would interest you a bit, would it not?
Yeah, probably.
Well,
if you
Vaughan's
go
a very
10 to 1,
shrewd
yeah, then
trainer.
I probably, I mean, 8 to 1, I'm still.
Anyway, well, there it is.
But he is.
I've seen worse outsiders.
Yeah,
I've
no
seen worse
doubt.
outsiders. Okay, let's move on to Zapatas. Now, Zapatas is an interesting horse because he was strongly fancied for the July. Obviously, he comes into the Met, but not quite the same as far as the handicap is concerned. He doesn't get the weight that he would have gone from that July. But as we know, unfortunately, he hurt himself on literally the day before the July. And for those of us, and I was one of those, that didn't get a run for our money. I think Ravi owns him as well, does he?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in partnership with Pamela Isdale and Gaynor.
Yes. Zapatas, what are you going to go? He's currently 45 to 1.
Yeah, Neil, we're going to go almost double the odds, 80 to 1.
80 to 1, Zapatas. Clearly Hilton doesn't like Zapatas because he's been very generous with that. 80 to 1 Zapatas. I'll update you what the place is. What about him? What do you make of him?
I loved him as a yearling, and I begged Justin for Mark to buy him. We sort of, like, when I say underpriced him, we had a limit and we couldn't get him. And he's been a horse that I've always followed. He's not a bulky horse. He's quite a light framed horse, and he's very, very racy. He obviously had a fetlock chip taken out, and his first comeback run, they were a little bit disappointed with his run. His second run wasn't a bad run. He only compounded late, and yeah, look, he's got a shout. Again, it's a 3-year-old crop again, but he's a lovely horse.
Andrew, what about him? I mean, again, the same as you mentioned with Linebacker. I mean, he was only 5.5 lengths behind Al Muthana.
I looked at him in the parading his last run. It didn't look like there was much more scope. He never had any extra weight on him. He was fairly light already. If Glenn is right with last year's crop, there's a form, Universal. Is Universal a runner in the race?
Well, I'm glad you said that. And the politician, there's absolutely nothing between them. So we'll get to Universal.
Yeah.
Well, again, when we're talking about value, and I can go up a little bit earlier. So Universal is 15 to 1, right? And here you're getting 80 to 1 about a horse that's like...
Yeah, then they're supposed to, yeah.
And certainly the place. And I can tell you that the place now on Zapatas is 112 to 10, so 11.2 to 1 for a top 4 finish. I mean, it's not impossible. He runs
No,
a top
not
4.
at all. No, he's not. He's not.
Yeah, yeah. So that's certainly... And the other thing I want to say about... How do you rate Louis Mkotwa? Because from my book, one of the strongest pound-for-pound riders around. He's matured into a very strong rider and very capable rider.
Very much so. Very. He's going to end up better than Muzieni and Samanga Kumolo. I promise you, got a level head on him. There's no arrogance about him. I love him as a person. And I think he's a very, very good rider.
So do I. I'm glad you concur. And, of course, he's been given the chance by Brett Crawford and has delivered in spades. And, of course, Make It Snappy. Well, he's not riding that, of course, but Keegan DeMille is riding it. But That would be a weight thing anyway. We wouldn't get down to ride that. So Zapatas 80 to 1, 112 to 10 is a place. Let's go to Nexus. Nexus is going to be coming into the parade ring looking for Pierre Stradom because Pierre just seems to ride him very well. Hilton 45 to 1 at the moment and 63 to 10, so 6.3 to 1 a place. What are you going to do for us?
Yeah, Neil, I think he might have a few fans. He probably comes in as one of the form horses. If you think his last 4 runs, 2 wins in 2 seconds. I'm not sure if a 7-year-old really is really made to win the Met.
Well, that's why I was
Has he got
looking
the
for
class?
Pierre.
Very good, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're the same old age home. It's the door next door. But Pierre has ridden this guy brilliantly.
And he's done well on him,
yeah, he has. But, you know, it's Justin Snaith and, you know, it's a horse who, I mean, what you can say is in form.
Well, I can say that Justin's done a fabulous job. I mean, this horse did his tendon. I think he did it twice, if I'm not mistaken. And to bring him back from after a tendon injury and to have this wonderful form as a 7-year-old is great. But I just question the Premier's, what was it, the Premier's the last race.
The Premiers,
The
yes.
whole
that
field ran
Rascallion
right
race.
on top of each other.
That's why the Phillies town was the second
Yes.
fastest.
Exactly. So it was a wonderful run, but then it just backs up all his horses in the same form. I don't know if that's
He's going to have his supporters because of Muzieni as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Justin.
Yes.
There's definitely going to be some sort of interest for him.
And he's going to have even more interest now because from 45 to 1, Hilton is
Going
going to
to
push it
100.
out to 60 to 1. 60 to 1 Nexus. And
tight in the old man.
Yeah.
60 to 1 is Nexus. By the way, all these other horses are reverting back. We've still got Linebacker at 60 to 1. Just hold on for a Linebacker because I'm going to have a few places on Linebacker, I think. Because I think he... am I?
I mean, would you rather take 60 to 1 Nexus or Linebacker?
No, Linebacker.
I would go
Absolutely,
Linebacker.
you know?
yeah.
Linebacker.
Yeah.
I mean, Nexus is a lovely horse, and I agree with Glenn. To win 9 races with him is a magnificent training feat, but I don't think he's had the class, whereas Linebacker on his day was a Group 1
Absolutely,
performer.
yes, yeah.
For me, I'd be with Linebacker. And, you know, we said earlier, I think we said it off-air, but class is permanent and form is temporary.
Yeah.
And horses do go off. If Linebacker comes back, he's an option. Okay, now, speaking of which, Do It Again, who has earned 9.4 million rand in stake, twice won the Durban July. He's at 45 to 1. But in looking for you to be generous, Hilton, he is 8 years of age, so he's a year older than Nexus. What are you going to give us?
He may be 8, but Bernard at the draw last week said he's working like a 4-year-old.
Correct. So we heard that.
That's why you stretch it out even more.
You should know jockeys.
Yeah,
You listen to jockeys.
What price is he?
45 currently.
45 currently, but
Yeah.
he's going to push it. What are you going to push it out to?
So I'll push him out to 60.
60 to 1. Do It Again.
I would have gone 70. Just on,
Yeah, well,
just on Bernard's comment.
Yeah, well, he has got blinkers on for the first time. But if you go back, I mean, your comment about him as a racehorse, I mean, on his day, he was...
no.
What a horse.
But why would you be putting blinkers on an 8-year-old?
Correct.
He's been as honest as the day is long. I think they trying to pull all stops up. I don't know. I can't have him. I love the horse. He's a
Yes.
magnificent horse, and he's been an absolute
What has he
soldier.
won? 3 Group 1s? 4 Group
Lovely.
1s? He's won the Queen's Plate. He won the July twice.
Yeah. Yeah, he was unlucky in one Met. Do you remember Rainbow Bridges Met? I think Richard sat
He
very
should
far
have
back.
trust. Yeah, he would have in the July as
Yeah.
well. He was
Yeah,
unlucky.
no, he
one
was
year.
very unlucky
Yeah,
in the July. Got
yeah,
taken right
yeah.
out in the July. But he is 8. Look, he's still a 126. I don't want to
And it's
actually talk
interest-
about handicapping because otherwise I'm going to be here all day talking about
It's
how
interesting
Al Muthana can be a 133. Al Muthana, now you see, I said I'm not talking about it, and I am. Al Muthana is a 133 and Jet Dog is a 130. I don't think they can be in the same paddock on the day. I know the Queen's Plate result, but
Almatona has beaten him twice.
yeah, but my gut feeling is that
No.
Jet Dog's a better horse. But anyway, that's it. This race doesn't really matter as far as merit ratings and so
So
forth.
do it again, you're going? 70 to 1.
70.
70 to 1.
70
There you
to
go.
70.
You-
70
Just,
it is.
just
Come on
on
regularly.
Bernard's comments.
Just
That is working well.
there you heard.
They should have tried Stratham on this horse.
Yeah.
Or Anton Marcus.
Yeah, that's coming. That's next
He
year's.
done well with Anton,
That's next year's. He did very well. Yeah.
the museum man.
Yeah, the museum, man. Night at the museum. Okay, I'm waiting for that to update so I can tell you the price. Nexus is 60 to 1, and you can still get 8 8.5 to 1 a place. You see, some of these places are fairly good value. Okay, now let's move on to Marina. Has there been money for Marina? Because early on in the betting, I thought she was a bigger price. Now she's only 30 to 1.
Yeah, she was. There has been, obviously, with older riding it. I mean,
Yeah.
That just attracts money as it is. I don't know. She always has her supporters. Doesn't matter whatever she runs.
Yes.
I mean, she's honest.
She is honest. I thought I'd be honest with you, I was a bit disappointed with the last run. Andrew?
Very.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, she throws that in every now and then.
She does,
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I think in last year's Met she threw in a
Yes.
poor run. She had run
shocker,
very well
yes.
in the paddock stakes and then threw in a shocker. But maybe this time round she's thrown the shocker in before the Met.
But then from there she went to Durban and threw a couple of shockers in.
Correct. I'll be honest with you, I backed her for the July last year anti-post. That's why WSB
Never
have
got
all
in.
got my money. Never got in, and she didn't deserve to get into the because she
No.
ran 2 terrible races. So she has.
Oh, she's a brilliant mare. I mean, she's won 10, but I mean, she beat Follow the Stars, who I wouldn't waste the money in nominating in this race.
There you go.
But she's really good. She's a little bit erratic, like fillies can be, but I can't have her.
I mean, Make It Snappy's beaten her twice. And Make It Snappy beat her on
Yeah, but strictly
in her third run. I mean,
strictly, it's not the last run on the paddock stakes where Andrew agrees with me. That's not her run. She's better than that. If you go back 3 runs, right, to the Sunbird Stakes, she is 4.5 kilograms better off with Make It Snappy for a beating of 3 lengths. Now, obviously, Make It Snappy has improved.
Yeah.
But strictly on form, I mean, we're talking about 1-7 to 2, and the other one, Hilton, is going to push out to what, Hilton, for us?
Currently 30. We're going to go at 45.
45. Okay, 45 to 1. And I think that here is perhaps some place value for me. We'll see how it updates. Because something's got to run 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And none of you are overly convinced by the Nexuses of the linebackers of this world.
No.
So, Aldo jumps from draw 3. What would... does he come to Dad and ask for tactical advice?
No, only when it's very important. I don't expect a phone call from him. He's well drawn, so he'll have in a good position.
Yes.
I mean, you've got a draw like that. You want 4, 5 in front of you. I mean, at the most.
Yeah, but to just keep you from taking the 2 million of it, Glenn has pointed out that she did beat Follow the Star at level weights, and to quote him, he wouldn't waste the money to nominate her. So maybe she's in a place. But I do think there are worse outsiders than number 3, Marina. I can tell you, Nico Kritsiotis loves Marina all over it. Says it's the value play of the race, place.
Should we go 50?
Exactly. There you go.
Wait, just for Nico's comment.
Just for Nico's
I would
comments.
go 55.
I think that's his age, 55. Okay, so that's the story there with Marina. Let's move on to Golden Ducat. Okay, Hilton, what are you going to give us for Golden Ducat, who obviously had serious injuries? Eric Sands has brought him back steadily. Not a great run in the Lormar King's Plate, but this was always going to be his target anyway.
Yeah, he's made no bones about the fact that the last 3 runs have just been too short. He hasn't been wound up. He's obviously got Sim Yong riding drawn 1. I'm not sure. It's a tough one. If he comes back to his best, I don't even know if he'll challenge at his best. I think maybe looking at an outside place chance if he can.
Glenn, what's your take on Golden
He's a
Ducat?
huge...
I was going to say, he's a monster of a horse.
He's a monster of a horse. He had a terrible injury. He did his suspensory ligaments, and Eric has done a fantastic job to bring him back. But a big horse with injury, I don't know, half this field will come back from bad injuries.
Yes.
So, yeah, I can't have him.
This couch is pretty much the same, right? Everyone's come back from injury.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah. And I wouldn't back any of us, even at 100 to 1. Golden Ducat, what a huge, imposing individual. And, of course, what a family.
Yeah.
A Wams brother, Rainbow Bridges brother.
Grade 1 winner.
Grade
isn't
1
he?
winner. Is Simeon an advantage? And I say that, I mean, it sounds like a strange thing to say because the guy's a brilliant jockey. But when they come here, these guys, I mean, are their minds totally on it?
He didn't look at advantage the last meeting, you know.
Yes.
He butchered more than he... What's that also?
Luckily he's French, he won't understand what you're
on a
saying.
winter holiday.
No, he will.
Yeah.
When I say it to him.
Yes.
What's the cult of Muscat that he rode?
Yes.
Is he Vungu Vungu?
He's a
Never
Vungu
got beaten.
Vungu, yeah.
Never should
He's
have got
running.
beaten.
He's riding on Saturday. You know?
And,
Yeah,
and
he
the
is.
filly wasn't a great rider either. The filly
There's
of
a
the
miracle.
Cox.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. That's both up the straight. Maybe you could just point out where the finishing line is, Jim.
Yeah. No,
But-
I will remind you.
But coming back to the horse, now he's also got blinkers on for the first time. Why would that be?
Because they can't get him to get it back to his form. I mean, I would think anyway.
The bet gets run once a year.
Yeah.
And you get desperate.
Yes. Okay. What are we
Capable,
go-
Capable of running fourth.
No. I mean,
He's
you-
capable. He
you've got-
is.
Depending who your first four are. Jeez, he's nowhere close to my top four.
He ran Rainbow Bridge, beat him, receiving a kilogram in the Champion Stakes. So, you know, he is capable on his day. But let's find out what Hilton's going to do for us, Hilton. Golden Ducat. By the way, Marina did go after Nico's comments. They've pushed it out to 50 to 1 and said, "There you go, Nico. You got dream. Your dream is arrived. 50 to 1 to win Marina and 7 to 1 a place. Golden Ducat is currently 30 to 1. What are we going to do, Hilton?
We'll go 45 to 1 nil.
45. That's very generous. That's nice. That's actually
Yeah.
you're taking 45 to 1 Golden Ducat. And some people. I mean, he never runs a bad race, does he? He's never too far
No.
off them.
No, 2.5
Get a-
inch of Jet Dog, 2.5 of Triple Fortune. He had Comedy Ding right in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's the story with Golden Ducat. Christophe Simeon. What did he? Can you remember what he looked like in the Queen's Plate? Did he might be a bit different to what you said about Zapatas. He might still have a bit of condition to work on, I would think.
Very sweaty horse.
Does he?
That whole
Very,
family's a
very,
little
yeah,
bit
very,
warm.
Do
very-
they get a bit warm? Okay.
Very,
Okay, right. Okay, so that's Golden Ducat. He is now 45 to 1 a win and 6.3 a place. Top 4 finish. Rascallion, let's talk about him. Well, let's first get a price from Hilton. Rascallion, what are you going to do with him 20 to 1?
Currently 20.
Yes.
We're going to push him out to 33 nil.
33, that's
Yeah.
even more value. As you can hear the horses they don't like, right? Because they're pushing them really out. Rascallion, I know you've questioned the form from him. He was an interesting horse because in his 3-year-old career, he was never quite as good as Linebacker, was he? He was always a length and a half, 2 lengths behind him. But he has, on occasions, had his day in the sun. But has he got the quality to win a Met?
Well, not under these conditions, and it's a shame. I mean, the poor chap goes and draws 17. I mean, Vaughan hasn't got great draws at all.
Yeah.
But he's such a great trainer and a great conditioner. Surprisingly, Cornet jumped off that one to ride Linebacker. I don't know if it was an owner, something to do with the owners, but I thought he would have stuck with Rascallion. Look, we're sitting with the half sister, so I'm quite excited about that. So, and she's only a
nice.
2-year-old and showing us a little bit, but I can't have him.
Rascallion, what I will say about him is that early on today I bumped into Bryn Wrestle, and Bryn Wrestle said it's got no chance, not after they draw 17. They backed him, but they think now it's got no chance from a 17 draw. But stranger things have happened.
Neil, you got 800 meters before you start turning.
Yes,
They give it too much strength, a bad draw.
yeah. I'd agree. That's exactly what I told him. I said to him, you can win from there. You're not going to circle them and go to the front, are you?
No.
So
This is another one coming back from a suspensory ligament injury as well.
Then he's actually done well.
Yeah, yes. I mean, if you go back to, you were right about the Daily News. Somebody said earlier on, did Linebacker win the Daily News? Yes, he did, and he actually beat this horse in the Daily News. And Sean Veal rode him. So Sean Veal has ridden him 3 times for a win and a second. One of those wins was the second place was Linebacker, and he actually ran on top of Commet Ding in when they came back here for the Cape Mile.
And in
Not
July.
too far off them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's updated now. What did you say you were giving us? 33 to 1.
33.
Okay, it's not updated yet, so we need to update that on online. While we do that, let's move on to Muthana. He is at 16 to 1 at present. Here, Stratham rides him. Hilton,
Yep.
what are you going to go?
Neil, he's currently 16, and we're going to push him up to 25 to 1.
25 to 1 Muthana. So the question that I've got to ask you, Glenn, does he stay?
His best form's over a mile. Everybody was surprised when he beat Charles Dickens, but he beat a top-class field over a mile with Mike de Kock. Again, I don't know why Bernard jumped off a Group 1 winning ride
Because they put the blinkers on, do it again. So
well, I don't know. Probably Bernard doesn't think he stays. I would think.
Yeah.
Bernard already engaged himself
Oh, did he?
before the Queen's Plate.
Ah, okay. That is,
ride
that's a
Waterbury.
good knowledge. We know that now. Okay, so he was committed. So as a result, Ricky had to find an alternative.
Yeah.
I mean, that is some training feat to get this horse to win the Queen's Plate. Does it make you question? This is as much a question about Charles Dickens, actually, as anything else. Does that result make you question the Lormeron King's Plate form?
Not at all.
And Jet Dark and Commet Ding, all of those?
Not at all. For me, my worry about Charles Dickens in the King's Plate was he ran 47. He ran 47 seconds in the Guineas.
Right.
The last 800. It's hard to repeat it 3 weeks later.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard because he had a race 3 weeks before that.
Yes.
Although it was a warm-up race, those top horses, they put everything in. They throw it out there. Doesn't matter if they win on the bit. So he won an allowance plate, and then 3 weeks later he won the Guineas, and then 3 weeks later, you cannot expect him to keep running that time as a young thing.
I hear that. So therefore, by association with that, worry about Make It Snappy.
Yeah.
She's been busy. I mean, and taking nothing away to beat Captain's Ransom the manner in which she did was, as you say, she's not on autopilot. That was a race that would have taken a bit out of it, Glenn.
You know, I said to Gaynor, I said, look, I was so sorry that she didn't win with Charles Dickens because nobody wants to see a champion get beat. But I said, if you'd rerun the race again, I think you get a different result. I mean, Bernard Fader pulled to the outside. He's seen what was going on the inside. He rode a great race. I just don't understand why Elder did what he did. I mean, it's not to criticize him in no means.
Excuses.
Well, maybe they're
At
looking for
1,000 he was-
excuses.
when I watched the race, at 1,000 I thought he was in trouble. In the Guineas he was luggers. He pulled him out luggers, instant. When you look at the head-on, he gives him a backhand at the 450. He backhands him. He's never backhanded him in his life.
But he's also
Everything
never
nobody
gone down
does
the
pays for.
inside in his life before either. He's always pulled out for a clear run. I don't know. I mean, he only got beat to a marginal.
Well, that's the other thing. It was a terrific run. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, people say he got beat because of his expectations, but I mean,
Ran
if
a
you take Almatana out of the race, he's beaten.
second and a half slower than he ran in the Guineas.
All right.
I'm very much on time. The course conditions
Yes.
don't change too much.
Yeah.
But if you take Almatana out, I mean, he beat Jet
He
Dog
beat
and he
Jet
beat
Dog and
Comedy
Comedy
Ding.
Ding.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Almatana will never beat him again. Never. They won't even parade together again. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That also. I told you, God was showing off.
Yes.
When he
Yeah.
thing these three-year-olds. No, every now and then he puts something in rather human.
Yes.
Just to show that he
Okay.
can show off. And that's
Interesting.
how good Bass's horse is.
Right, okay. Almatana, 25-1, 7-2, a top four finish. He's got the quality if you believe he can stay. And listen, Pierre is a masterful horseman. I mean, if anybody can conjure up something, he can.
Machine.
Yeah,
One of the best jockeys
Yeah,
we've seen.
that's I
Between
agree
him and
with-
Jeff Lloyd, probably the best we've seen.
yeah. No, I'd agree with
That's
that.
who I
The
would
man
pick
is a genius.
To
So,
ride for my life.
Yeah.
With Pierre or Jeff.
yeah. Well, there you go. So Andrew putting it into perspective, it's a huge plus because he will be in the right place, and if the horse has the ability, Pierre will get the best out of him. Okay, let's talk about Universal. Now, there's a lot of barking about Universal up north, I can tell you. Some people in Johannesburg give him a big chance. He's currently 15-1. What are you going to push it up to, Hilton?
It's interesting you say that, Neil, because for the
Been money for him?
for the sixth favourite in this race, there's been very little money for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we're all looking at that same form line that Glenn was talking about earlier, where everybody finished on top of each other. Is it Met winning form? Is he classy enough to win the Mets? I don't know.
It's another horse has come back from an injury, so they're all just coming on. One thing about Adam Marcus, he's not very hard on his horses. So he, as they race, so they get better and better. And he's obviously had this race in mind, and he would be well prepped for it. If anything, he'd be one of the horses that I'll be backing for a place.
Okay, so you give him a bit of a sneak. He's a nice, big, strong horse. He's well related, of course. He's Vardy's brother, and we know that Vardy won a Queen's Plate. He was a tremendous miler. Not so sure whether he gets the 2,000, but he's a big, strong horse. I must be honest, on King's Plate Day, I was sitting in this chair and I said he went down terrible. I said he cannot come back. With 100 metres to go, I was shouting stop because I was going to have egg on my face. He looked beat and he hung in there and he toughed it out. So he's got some things in his favour.
But that's what good horses do, eh? But listen to me, we try our best to keep them as sound as possible, do the best for them. And sometimes you get the odd one that goes to the start and you think, could have gone down better.
Yes.
It happens to us. As I phoned Ashes and didn't go down well. Eh?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
Yes.
And he didn't go down well last time.
No, he didn't.
But I'm sure Adam would have worked on him. It's like Glenn says, Adam's horses do improve.
Yes.
They do. Has he got that class? I'm not quite sure.
Okay, but what price are we going? Did you give us a price there?
There's currently 15.
Yeah.
22 to 1 we're going to offer.
22 to 1. Okay, well, that'll please some people who like him, and Glenn gives him a bit of a sneak. Universal 22 to 1. We'll see what that adjusts to a place. By the way, Almaton is 7 to 2 a place if you want. Still 25 to 1 available. Rascallion is still available at 33 to 1. And we're going to keep those open for a couple more minutes. Let's move on to Sparkling Water. Right. Wow, what a performance in the July. You can't take that away from her. I thought a terrific ride from Smunga. He took the bull by the horns, committed early, and that's probably what won in the race because she had little or no weight. In contrast to what I just said about Universal, I thought she looked terrifically well on King's Play Day. She strode down, and then Mike and I watched the canter past you and said to me, Neil, you can't believe how this filly's turned since I've got her down here. Having said all that, she's not really in my selections, but what are you going to do for us, Elton?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think coming into this race, if you're going to win a Grade 1, you guys will know. The prep means everything.
Yes.
And she opened, I think it was 5 to 2 last time out. Last run, she started 16 to 1. So she wasn't fancied.
Yes.
She stayed on 2 lengths. Who did she run behind?
But she stayed on and they went slow, and I thought
Snappy,
it was a good run. I think she ran on from last.
Obviously, the July weights, I mean, she's 4 kgs worse off this field. But the way she won the July, I think this is my sort of type of horse that could win it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to put that aside and still be generous for us, even though you fancy her. So she's 15 to 2. What are you going to... What's that? 7.5 to 1 at the moment. That's
11
too short. You've got to push that out.
11 to 1.
11
Happy?
to 1?
Happy?
Well, let's find out what the experts say. Let's start with you, Glenn. Now, Andrew's giving me a very pensive look here. He's going to give us a pearl of wisdom. But what do you think, Glenn?
Well, the Cox string hasn't fired, I don't think. But saying that, the next runs are getting better, and it wasn't a bad run at all. She was running on. She had a good 400 to finish. She did it in 23.6. It's going to be tougher at the weights, I think. But Mike de Kock, say no more. I mean, he's an absolute master at peaking them on the big days, and what a fantastic filly. It'll be great to see her do the double, but not too many of them have done that in the history of racing, when the Met and the July.
Yeah. Okay, what's your comments, Andrew?
She ran well last time, off a slow run pace.
Yeah. Correct, I agree.
She did. So Manga dropped out to last, and she tugged him the whole way around. While I followed her, somebody in Ashwin's box backed her.
Yeah.
And she stayed on nicely, eh? Very, very good enough to win, not quite sure, but she'll be there.
Yeah.
She's got a good draw. I think Samanga will have her in a good position, and she's got a good chance. She's got to be in your top 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you just take the last form for what it's worth, she ran on off a slow pace, beaten just over 2 lengths.
Distance too short, eh?
Yeah,
distance too short.
Yeah, and she really did look well. What did you offer us there?
11.
11 to 1. 11 to 1. Are you happy with 11 to 1, or are you going to ask
probably
for 12
a squeeze for 12?
Probably a squeeze for 12. Can you squeeze for 12 there for Andrew?
Look at me.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
So 12 to 1.
30 seconds.
12 to 1. I won't be for 30 seconds, so they'll update it. It might go quickly. Listen, you've got a fallback. It can only cost you 2 million if the worst.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, Sparkling Water, currently 11, but it's going to go 12. So, wait, it's going to go. There it is. It automatically 12 to 1. That's a nice price, and she's definitely a runner. Cousin Casey is where we go to now. Well, let's start with you, Glenn. Cousin Casey. I mean, what a tremendous horse.
I
I've
think
said
we
it
need to
earlier on.
answer price first.
Well, he's gonna,
Let's see what Glenn says first.
this is where you say hasn't eaten for 2 days. It's gone when.
If they don't eat Neil, that means they're full.
Yes.
You
Okay.
know,
Well, let's get the price first. Let's get the price right. Cousin Casey is 6 to 1.
Okay. Conversely, from Universal, he has been, since Charles Dickens was taken out, he's probably one of the most backed horses.
Really? Hey?
with us,
Okay. That's Glenn's money.
Yeah.
Well,
Or Ravi's money.
no, well, I said if Charles Dickens wins the Queen's Plate, I told
King's Plate,
everybody
yeah.
the King's Plate. I told everybody in my yard, if he wins it, we'll open up favourite for the Met.
Yes.
So I said, so start backing it now.
Right.
Before, because Hollywood's giving you open bets, so is Wilson's betting. Start backing it now.
Yes.
Because you're not going to get that price, and I wasn't wrong.
No, you were
He
spot on.
Just got touched off. He shortened in tremendously. He's had a great prep. I mean, he's had 2 runs. His first run, he beat a very smart field. Grant
Selangor, yeah.
Yeah, Grant didn't get him away that well, and he ran on beautifully. It was after a nice break. And of course, everybody said, "Oh, he's a top 2-year-old. He won't train on," which what a load of rubbish. And then his last run. If you look at it, going through the 400, he was 10th. And he beat 8 horses home. I don't even think he saw Charles Dickens on the outside. Neither did Grant, because Grant first saw Charles Dickens next to him. He said, "Oh, well, we've got him tight." And the next thing, they dropped him right out, switched him out, and he ran on exceptionally well. I can tell you that we brought him here 10 days ago, and we did some proper pace work with him. And Grant got off and he said, "Jeepers, I said to you the last time he galloped well, but he really has come on a lot." The other thing that's quite interesting is that you're talking about weight for age. He did everything as a November foal, a late November foal. So every month he just gets bigger and stronger.
Okay.
And we're now in January, and he's taking on the same horses, and he's just got. I mean, you'll see what he looks like. I mean, I
Would he
asked
be
Mike.
one of the best you've ever trained?
So somebody asked me because he's out of Bretton Woods, which is Big City Life's full sister.
Right.
I can't say anything about Big City Life. He was
Yeah.
probably our best horse we've trained, but I think this horse got more talent right now at the same age.
Okay.
So
High praise.
yeah, I mean he's a really, really smart horse. I mean, right in the beginning they said, "Oh, we're going to go for the Derby, not the Met," but when they put the Met. The Derby, we've got a choice. Previously, we never had a choice
Right.
between the.
Well, you've finished talking about him, and actually Hilton's now shortened him. So instead of stretching it, it's actually shortened to 7 to 2.
Well, we got the 14 to 1, so we're quite happy.
Yeah, you're okay. No, that's high praise indeed, and he's a lovely horse. And I must say, Ravi as an owner is fantastic for the game. I mean, he popped onto our broadcast on Normal Queen's Plate. Nobody would be more pleased for him to have a Met winner than me. I mean, he deserves it because he's just what a great guy, enthusiastic, great guy.
I got stuck in traffic, but Robbie's made T-shirts for the punters because he's all about the punter. He said that he watched his dad and his Uncle Pat and all those guys have been punting for 70 years. He said, he watched how they used to run up and down and put their 5 rand on, whatever, and it's all about the punter. He said, it's wonderful to own all these horses, but it's who makes this game? It's the characters, the punters of the game, and you've got to look after them. So he's given, you've seen he's given caps and T-shirts, but he's such a great marketeer. So I don't know if anybody knows the sitcom. It says How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
And you see them running on these. Well, he's got How I Met Your Cousin, and he's got. You will see the T-shirt. I was in such a rush I didn't get a chance to get out the car because of the traffic. But he's a great guy.
No, he's a great guy.
It'll be fantastic.
Listen, on King's Plate Day, he bought us gin and tonics. So, Ravi, if you're watching, bring us more gin and tonics. Leave the meet my cousins behind. We just want the gin and tonics. Okay, let's get to the important stuff. So 6 to 1, cousin Casey. What is Hilton going to do for us?
We were going to go 7, but I think we'll give Glenn a little bit of a bonus. 7.5.
7.5. 7.5 to 1. When he's 6 to 1. So 7.5 to 1 it will be, that's 15 to 2, right?
It is.
15 to 2. So that'll be updated, and
just one more thing I wanted to say. If we had pulled 2 and the filly drew wider,
14,
what price would he be?
Yeah,
just saying. Yeah. So when you watched, if you can put your mind back when Joe Ramsden pulled 20 out of 20 in the July, he threw the card down and said, "Well, that's me, I'm toast," and he goes and wins it. So nothing wrong with draw 14.
No, and this horse never cracks a draw anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he's always raced, so there's nothing foreign there. Okay, yeah, he's again, I was down at Bryn's place today at Vasco, and a lot of punters are on him, Cousin Casey, and he's now 15-2. Andrew hasn't had a comment about him, so let's hear. Andrew, what do you think?
Well, it all depends what Grant does the first 300 meters for me. If he jumps out, gets a fairly good position without using him too much, and he seems a fairly relaxed horse, what I've watched from him, and I'm not a bad judge. Then I love the 3-year-olds, I told you.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not going to tell you again.
So for you, 15-2, good value.
I backed him at 12-1, I think. I spoke to Glenn, I said, this is me.
Yes.
Because I love the 3-year-olds so much.
Yes.
You see, our 3-year-olds in Joburg,
Yes,
that are substandard to the Cape Town ones,
correct.
are beating horses like Sparkling Water in Joburg.
Okay.
And they came down here
And got thumped.
and
yeah.
got, well,
Not thumped, but,
yeah, we got beat,
Yeah.
7 legs.
Yeah,
And they ran to form.
yeah.
So I think that's how good the 3-year-olds are. So I think for me, Glenn has definitely got the right horse.
Okay.
Depending how Grant rides him, obviously.
Right, Cousin Casey now 15-2 for the win. Let's move on now to two older campaigners who are back for another crack. Commet Ding won it. He's the defending champion. And he's at 5-1. I think he was 6-1 during the week, so there's been a bit of money for him.
Yeah, there's always going to be money for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the people's horse.
Yeah, there's always support, especially Cape Town.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He hasn't won for a year. You know, they sent him up to Joburg. I still don't know if it was the right move.
Definitely not, I think.
And
look, the hindsight's a perfect science.
correct. And on conditions, he had both races at his mercy, and he couldn't win those.
Yeah.
So the last time he won was on Mete last year. Is he like Andrew said? Is he sort of waning off form? Is he good enough to win?
Well, based on that, you should be going 100-1 the way you just dissed him. But he's 5-1. What are you going to do for us?
Yeah, there's been a bit of money, Neil, like I said. So 6-1, we're going to go.
6-1, Commet Ding. Andrew, what's happened to Commet
Look,
Ding?
it will be nice for it will be a good ending for him because he's going to start after this.
Correct.
It will be nice for Ashwin. It's been a good story. It will be nice for Uncle Harry. Because
Yeah.
Uncle Harry actually picked the horse.
Okay.
Don't let anybody fool you. He picked it for Ashwin. And my heart,
When you say Uncle Harry's Harold Crawford,
Harold
you're talking
Crawford,
about.
yes,
For those who don't
he
know,
actually
yeah.
picked the horse,
Yeah.
you know. So it will be a lovely ending.
Yeah.
It would be. Gavin has ridden him not well every start, eh? You know, the day he got beat by Jet Dog in Durban in the 18, he should have won it. If I'd heard him, he would have won. And I think a couple of other jockeys, would have won on him. No, he rode him badly. Set him a light early. He's had a good prep, eh?
Yeah.
He's fit.
What did you make of his Queensberry run? Because initially I thought not a great run, and I went back to look at it, and bearing in mind that he's no longer a miler, he clearly wants
No,
2,000.
no, yeah.
It wasn't the worst run.
He was the pick of the ring for me on Kingsblade Day. Michelle turned him out to perfection. He's had a great prep. His third run after layoff. He's the best of the old horses, I think. Him and Jet Dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
No doubt.
No doubt for him. Okay,
He's
so
had a
6
good prep, and he won at 10.
Yes.
He looked like he was going to run on place, and then suddenly started grinding again.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
that just tells you he's better over 10 furlong.
Yeah, and
I hope for Ash when he wins. I
and if
really
you go
do.
back a year, you remember there was a story, I think it was on King's Plate Day, when he still ran second.
Yeah.
But he had hives and he wasn't well, and he didn't have probably the perfect preparations. He's had a much better one this year, I think.
Yeah, she's prepped him well. He's
Yeah.
looked well.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Commet Ding, definitely a live wire. Jet Dog. You know, before you give us a prize, you've been very quiet, Hilton, about your own personal fancies. What are they?
Neil, like I said to you earlier, with Sparkling Water's prep, I think she comes into the race. Obviously, Cousin Casey. Everyone's saying that she won't stay. I mean, Glenn's just laid it out there that she's got the pedigree to stay. He's shown that he is going to stay. I think it's between those two. If I had to throw a value, maybe Zapatas if he comes back to his best.
Okay, interesting. So, I don't know, because we're getting all these guys' opinion, but now we've got yours. Sparkling Water, Cousin Casey, and Zapatas as a roughie. That's Hilton's personal selection. So, so we now know when you go 8-1 Jet Dog, it isn't because you're trying to get on. 7-2 at the moment, Jet Dog.
Yeah, Justin said this week that he has the horse well. I don't think Justin's ever said that about any horse, ever.
Well,
He says about 20. If he's got 32 runners, says about 35 of them.
Yeah, he's currently 7-2, 9-2 going to be available.
9-2 Jet
That's a
Doc,
good
which
price,
is a
eh?
big price. If you like
Yeah.
Jet Doc, that's a genuine price. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if he won because he's a tremendous horse, but I see him, Glenn, as a reverse to Commet Ding, if you like. I think he's at his best at a mile, and probably 2,000 is a bit beyond his optimum. So for me, I'm not in Jet Doc's camp, but he has got all the class in the world. What did you make of him?
I agree with you. I think he's a far better miler, been by Trippy, but he's a great horse. I mean, he just knows how to turn it on. Top jockey, draw 4. I mean, what more can they do? I mean, he'll run a big race.
He will run a big race. He's probably the form horse.
No,
Andrew?
I disagree. I think he wants a 10 furlong now.
No, well, that's
I
the other
really
thing,
do.
because he's got a bit older, right?
When I've gone back on his reruns, every mile was run at a tremendous pace.
Yes.
And he comes and finishes them off. I personally think that he wants it. He ran second in July, that's a 2-2.
That's a very good point,
Yeah.
because that
And he's
July run, he
re-
was the meritorious winner of that July, if you look at the weights.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah.
was an unbelievable
Came
run.
from way back.
Yeah.
The filly had the run of the race. Amanga rode it brilliantly, and Richard rides him well.
Yes.
He settles better for Richard. When I look at the rerun of the Queen's Plate, he's probably going to beat Commet Ding.
Okay, interesting.
That's my opinion.
So that is interesting, and I conceded you're right, because in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking he's getting older. Maybe he wants 2,000
He
now.
finishes the race off better than Commet Ding. And he was
Justin
behind
did
him.
say in the King's Plate he was the most unluckiest horse. He had a
He
lot of
ran a
traffic.
great
yeah.
race. He ran a great race in the King's Plate. He sat last, second last, and he finishes it because I wanted to see who finishes the race off
Yes.
better. And he finishes it much better off than Commet Ding.
Okay, interesting. So 9-2, you reckon's okay for him?
Good
a nice
price, good price, good
Yeah,
price.
value bet.
Tempted value, very, very good value.
Okay, so very good
What is
value.
that a place? First
Well, it's still stuck on 6 to 10, so I don't know if that's going to be pushed out a little bit. It's
Gotta
difficult
be.
for them because,
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, it's hard to see him not getting a place with his form, right?
Yeah, no, very hard.
Yeah, I mean, he should run his race. I mean, I don't think he runs a bad race. Okay, so we've still got 6 to 1 is available for Commet Ding out there. 9 to 2 is available with Jet Dog, and Cousin Casey is still, if you want, at 7.5 to 1. And in fact, Sparkling Water is at 11 to 1, so that's still available here. But let's move on to what is now favourite, Make It Snappy. First of all, Hilton can give us an update on what money and support has come for Make It Snappy, because at one stage there was 8 to 1,
Yeah.
7 6s, and now 7 to 2. Has been a lot of money.
There has been, and we've got 2 very split camps here. One who's obviously saying that she ran a second faster than Rascallion on King's Plate Day. I think she ran 112, Rascallion 113, I think. Same conditions.
Yeah.
Carrying 51.5. But on the other side, which is obviously the more important one, she's had 3 grade 1s coming up now. When Susanna won the Met, she finished second in the Fillies Guineas, then won the Paddock, and then won the Met. Make It Snappy obviously won the Guineas, had a much harder run, won the Paddock, and now has to go one better than Susanna. Is she better than Susanna? Are the conditions in her favour? Charles Dickens, we all thought was 1 run too many. There's a camp that thinks that this might be 1 run too many as well.
Okay, so that is interesting. What therefore will you be going? It's 7 to 2 at the moment. How bold are you going to be here?
We're going to push out 9 to 2.
9 to 2, that's big. So you're pushing it out to 9 to 2, eh? So the same price as Jet Doc. Let's get Glenn's take on it. And you've obviously worked with a lot of 3-year-old fillies. How much can you ask of them? And she's been busy, but is she that good?
You know, I mean, we had that 3-year-old filly that won the Fillies Guineas, and 2 weeks later, we took on the Colts, and we thought we couldn't get beat, and it was just too much for her. You know, she ran third to that horse of Joe Ransom, Top
Variety Club.
Variety Club. So it was a great run, but 5 runs, 5 months.
Yeah.
You know, she's a beautiful big filly. My goodness me, she looks like a colt. She's got nostrils like you can't believe. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because is Keegan DeMiller going to do the weight, 51 and a half? I'm willing to put my book on it. He's going to do 52 and a half. I think he had to do a half kilo over at 54 the last meeting. So he's got a lot of work to do. And by saying that, it's late in the day. Is he going to be wasting? Is he going to be... Oh, you know it, you've been there. But
He's
anyway,
never wasted a day in his life.
But I would be... Look, I mean, I think it's going to be between the 2 3-year-olds.
Yes.
That's my opinion. I think I'm going to beat them.
Yes.
So, yeah, let it drift. You can give them as much as they want.
9-2. Andrew, you're chuckling away there.
But this could be Caster Semenya.
Yes, could well be. Especially with those nostrils he's just saying there.
He's talking
He's
about.
But look, I mean, for Hollywood bets, it would be absolutely fabulous. They've pumped money into the game. They've been great supporters of South African racing, and it'll be quite fitting for them. But not
Yeah, but
this
if
year,
they
guys.
if they lay too much of her, they might actually be shouting for her to stop. I don't know. It's an interesting situation with them being owners of the horse and bookmakers laying. It'd be interesting to see. I don't know what price they've got, but we know that our sponsors of the race have gone 9-2. Andrew, your take on her?
Not too many fillies can knock that filly of Justin over.
Correct.
Yeah.
She fought that filly off, and I had to change my opinion about it. Because you won the fillies guineas. You know, I sold you a game. God showed off.
Yes.
When he made these 3-year-olds. You know what I mean? And she's funny. She just keeps winning.
Yeah.
And it's tough asking her, is she capable of doing it? Yes. Of course, she's got a plum draw. She's going to have one leading her. If she's good enough, unless she's tired, we're thinking she's not.
Yes.
Her times have been good enough. She's shown that she's got to be there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I still think Glenn's horse, if he gets a run of the race, he's going to be a hard horse to beat.
You no longer frequent the jockey room, but you got a few kids still riding in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of you probably don't even know of.
Not very possible.
So what's the word about Keegan DeMella getting to 51.5? Have you heard anything?
Nah, I've
No
got no
problem.
idea. But he's got, listen, even if he rides at 52, apparently his weight is very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's got a plum draw. Listen, she's a monster.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping it doesn't, because we want to see a good Met. You know
Yes.
what World
Well,
Sports betting?
we've got a great Met. It's
Between
unbelievable.
World Sports betting, Owen,
Yes.
Greg Bortz, and Mary Slack, they have saved racing.
Yes.
We'd have been in the dumps.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so 9-2 available. Let's just check. I think we're probably closing some of those, but they are available down there. Still at 9-2. Make It Snappy. Jet Dark at 9-2. Commet Ding 6-1, and Cousin Casey's still. They're just waiting for Glenn to get actually off the broadcast so he can actually phone and get busy again with more of Cousin Casey at 7.5 to 1. So we're going to quickly look. We're going to spend 5 minutes. We've been on air quite a while, but I want to spend 5 minutes looking just broadly at the card because it deserves that. Huge totalisator turnovers. I'm sure that Hilton won't mind me saying that. There's world pools, so punters have it all at their fingertips. Huge fields, value everywhere, and whatever happens, there are going to be dividends, and we always know there's going to be results somewhere across the card. Glenn, in truth, it's just an unbelievable card. I mean, when I opened, you know what, I said to somebody in Joburg, I had to print out my computer form, and I had to do it in 3 segments because the staple wouldn't go in when it was all together. That's how big these fields are. And living and training here in Cape Town, I think you can feel what a great job the Bortz, I call it the Bortz bounce factor, has done.
No, absolutely. It is amazing, and it's just amazing what top businessmen can do. I mean, they can just turn everything around. I just hope to God that we can sustain it and that it can flow onto Natal season, because that's always great racing.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm sure that in time to come, there's probably going to be one company running it if the betting legislation allows it. And then we could do what they do in America, have a racing circuit where they really pump the stakes into the province that is having their main season and encourage the... Do you know how expensive it is for us to go take a string of horses and go and race in Natal for the season? And on the other hand, it's been a pleasure. You know, you're seeing all that what they've been getting. And I was saying to Justin for Mark, the hardest place to win a race in the country has got to be in the Cape. And every time a Natal horse wins, and a Polly horse from Natal, he says, "What do you mugs know in Cape Town?" So it's been unbelievable. The Raiders have done a fantastic job. It's really made it exciting. That is why Durban racing is so exciting. But it's the cost factor, really. So if we could get it that we can do a racing circuit and we can get all these incentives to move the string, it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, very well said. So let's talk at this card. I mean, there's 12 races, so we can't go all the way through it. We all know the card. I mean, if you're going to, where is there a banker, Andrew? I mean, and if so, where or
Well,
how
you've
would
got
you?
to go that filly of Justin, surely.
Yeah,
surely.
Captain's Ransom. Yeah,
I mean,
she
we'll
looks-
all like to see her win.
Yeah, because to be hypercritical, Desert Miracle and Chancellor haven't really trained on to the level perhaps we thought they would do, right? Yeah, she's the right. No problem that it's a small field. Pace shouldn't really worry
If
her.
I'm Richard, I would take it to the front.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just trying to find, that is race. That's the small field, isn't it? That is effectively the first leg of the pick six, so you will know your fate early. Only a 6-horse field. And then she's back also, Glenn, to, in my opinion, with her again, a bit like Jet Dark, although that might be different, as you said, but I've always felt that a mile she's almost unbeatable. 1800 probably just a fraction too much.
Definitely. That's why I thought that she could get beat in the in the Group 1 the other day.
Paddock Stakes,
I
yeah.
thought, she's just not 18 and it's a bit of a stretch for the...
Yes, you're right,
Excuse me.
because even the previous year, Andrew, remember, she nearly got collared by, I think it was Shanzanay moved up past her, and Marina was right on top of her. But back to a mile, she looks like a ready-made
She
banker.
does.
But if you do bank her, there's going to be the pundits that are going to say, no, bugger that, we've got to try and get a beat
Yeah.
there. Because that's where the pick six is really going to
Yeah,
pay.
yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
You're saying yes, Hilton, then that's, of course, that's the point of exotics, isn't it? I mean, the art is structuring, because many times you can all find 4 winners, but it's where you go out that you think, I should have gone wider there, or I should have gone narrower when I went too wide, which didn't allow me to put in all the horses and the fillies and mares, or whatever the case may be. But the rest of the card is, can I say, tantamount to impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, the PA is going to
Absolutely.
pay, isn't it?
I'm going to give you a banker.
Yeah, give us a banker.
I'm going to give you 2 bankers.
Give us 2 bankers.
Surprised you only got 2.
Hang on.
I can actually give you 3.
He's got
there
10
we go.
horses. Give us 11 bankers.
No, seriously. I think that in the Group 1 sprint, I don't have a runner there, so you're safe, Andrew. But I really think that Corey Lindsay's colt's going to win it. Muziani has been banging on everybody's head that he's ridden this horse every day, and he says this horse is spot on. The guy was at the Gallops, the owner was at the Gallops this morning at
The
Durnville.
Leash Chief you're talking
Yeah.
about, eh?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's a beautiful horse. I really think. And I mean, the only other one that can beat it is going to be Sean Terry's filly, who's absolutely phenomenal. But I
done well,
think
eh?
she could get beat over the 5.
Right.
I know she won a 5, but this is different. This is
Yeah,
taking
she
the
was
good
very
for her.
quick.
She's very, very
We
good.
had the privilege of training her.
Yes.
Very good for her.
Yes.
Very good.
And coming back to that, Hilton, if you look at her form, every time she bumped Captain's Ransom, she got beat. Since she
Absolutely,
went a different path, she's proven how good she is in her own right.
Listen to me, she's exceptionally good.
Yeah.
People said, when she won a grade 1 for us, he's standing on the rooftops.
Yes.
I actually phoned Lance Michael afterwards. I said,
Correct.
I'm still on the rooftop.
Yeah.
After she won.
Actually, I was with Lance on Thursday, and I said I'm working with Andrew, and he said he
Send him my
sends his
regards.
regards.
I said
But we
him-
love it. We love everybody chirping, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. By the way, speaking of that, I spoke to him. He said that Make It Snappy, he cannot win. He's taking a position. So why I say this is because as a bookmaker, as a punter, everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
And what we can say to people is don't listen to 400 people.
No.
Back your own judgment, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about value as
And
well.
I must say about Corey Lensley's wife, drove that horse down.
Yeah. Ivy.
And it
Emmy.
got off the
Emmy,
float
Emmy,
bouncing.
Emmy. Emmy.
She drove it, took her 14
Did she?
hours or 17 hours of it.
Yeah, but why did she reverse the whole way?
Aye.
She was reversing the whole way. I told Emmy she must go straight. But maybe 2 horses then, because I don't want to leave Princess Keller out.
Well, I'm going to banker that one. Yeah, Princess Keller, I think she'll run second.
Princess Keller in second. Okay, can I ask you one other... the 9th race is the last race. What about this other race, which is the... You're going to get very excited now when I talk about the Gold Rush. I mean, how much did you... What is the first stake check
5
there?
million.
5 million, I'm feeling rich.
Yeah.
That is my other banker.
Your own King Regent.
King's
eh?
Regent. So, first somebody won with a ton in hand. He absolutely exploded from the 400 to the finish. And he won with, he didn't even get a smack. Second time out, Muthi gave it the worst ride you've ever seen. He only managed to get up to win.
Tell us how you feel.
No. Well, he knows.
He won.
He just said, "Thank God the horse got me out of trouble." He said,
Right,
because just
okay.
everything possibly went wrong. And then we tried him over the mile, and the horse went dilly next to him.
Yeah.
He got left by 6 lengths. He gave the winner 4 kilos.
Yes.
And Grant Fanica, in all his greatness, panicked because the gap's closing down the inside. And he went too soon. He sent him, and I didn't think it was a great ride either. But, you know, I'm a great grandstand jockey. But anyway, but the horse that he ran second to was Without Question.
Yes.
Without Question ran second to the horse they're talking about winning the Derby.
Okay. Rockfall.
Rockfall, yeah. And it was Rockpool. It was a great run. I tell you what, we've been working with this horse with Milan. We've put earmuffs on him. We've rattled the cage and the pins. We've done everything. He's absolutely 100% fine in the pins. And from a favourable draw, I think he's a serious runner.
He's got to be the horse of Justin's, obviously. They
Yeah.
ran fourth in the Guineas.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta be.
Yeah. Royal Mo or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
Royal Aussie, or what's it called?
Yeah, Royal Aussie. Well done.
Yeah.
He's a son of Royal Mo. Yeah.
Is it true that they got in the race because Sandy Arundel used her ticket?
Yeah, well, you know the concept of the gold rush. You either had to buy the horse
Right.
to get into the race, to qualify, or you had to buy the box, which was actually the starting stalls. So they sold them off 3 years ago at 400,000, and I thought that was rather rich. I said I'd rather come to the party with something that qualifies.
Yes.
So once we had won 2 in a row and then ran that very good second, the phone never stopped ringing. Everybody wanted to have a piece of him. So we did a deal with Sandy and Eugene Rundle, thank goodness. Yeah, there were lots of offers on the table, but Sandy, she's a great supporter of the game. She's got a couple horses with me, and it was a no-brainer which way we were going to swing to. And yeah, I tell you what, I'll be really excited for a young owners in the game to crack something like this. So it's quite an interesting concept. Some guys were selling their boxes; they didn't want to take the gamble. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
It's going to be a great race. I think the last words belong to Hilton, but I want to remind folks out there that it's a wonderful weekend of punting, and this card in particular is a real humdinger for punters. You've got plenty of time still to study. As far as WSB is concerned, don't forget that offer, and I've used it. I suggest you do as well. So whatever you deposit, whether it be 5 grand, 10 grand, 1 grand, or the top end, which is 100 grand, you get 20% of your money on top of that as a free bet. So if you if you put 100 grand in, you'll get 20,000 rand free bonus, free bets, and it certainly gives you an opportunity to make use of that. So great racing. Where are you guys going to be racing? Because you're the sponsors. You must be extremely proud of what this card has bought for you guys.
Yeah, Neil. This time last year, I think COVID restrictions were lifted a couple of months or a month before the race. We didn't have any time to get organised, and I think you can see that. I think there were 11 horses in the field last year.
Yeah,
now we're sitting at 19, so everything's changed. We'll be outside in our normal betting box, the one that you come and join in the morning.
Regularly. I'm
Kim
due
will,
for a win, actually.
Kim will be waiting to serve you, I'm sure. And then we've actually got boxes throughout the building, in Somerset room, Pocket Power room. Got our staff throughout those rooms as well.
Wonderful.
Just one thing that I need to add, someone who backs a lot of seconds, as you do.
Yes.
We've got another promo that if you back a horse and run second in the match, you get your money back.
I saw that, yes.
Yeah.
I saw that.
So,
My intention is to
That's
back the
actually
winner,
good.
not to run second. Yeah, it is. But that can happen, and something's got to run second. Heaven hope it's not our horse.
Yeah.
But you do get your money back, which is actually important. Hilton, thanks very much. Andrew, always a pleasure.
Lovely,
Glenn, always a pleasure as well. And good luck with your 10 horses. I know you said to me earlier you haven't got the most, but quality. And fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'd just like to just say that I want to thank Warren and Hilton.
Yeah.
They signed us up. So officially our first meeting will be on Met Day. So I'm really grateful. Thank you guys. You're really a professional team, and it's been an absolute pleasure working out all the bits and pieces. And I think it'll be quite fitting if Cousin Casey had to win World Sports Betting
Would
Met.
be nice.
Yeah,
It'll
it would
be
be.
just absolutely fabulous. So I'm just crossing fingers and saying my prayers.
the sponsorship actually banks on that.
Yeah.
Could be over by Sunday.
Andrew, great to see the big guys here. I saw Bob Urim as well pop down and arrived. Always good to see the WSB folk in town. It's going to be a great day. Andrew, thanks for coming in. And big day. You got any runners at all on the day?
No. We're going back on Sunday now. Took them all back.
Okay, but you're going to enjoy your time.
I'm going to love it. Spending it with World Sports Betting.
Lovely. Well, there it is, folks. Thank you very much. Hopefully you've taken advantage of some of that value. There's plenty of value on the day. If you have a look around, these races are deep, big fields. Study, and WSB will give you a great price. And if you are here on the day, as Hilton told you, get around the front and have a bet, because it's going to be a thrilling, spectacular of horse racing here on WSB Cape Met Day.